or just build up those ultimates with a very volatile composition that explodes when you have ults ready to go. And then there's nothing they can do. So definitely a lot of pressure, I think, attacking first and failing versus defending first and failing defending. Because at least then you know you have to push the entire way. You don't have to go for something crazy to maintain your win condition. But it looks like the side of NiP going to be going Torbjorn. And even Kaino going to be playing a Mercy here. Wait, and Mafu's on the... Okay, Mafu's on the Pharah. So they're not even running a Reinhardt. Frag is going to be on the Diva.
This is definitely an interesting defense, but you know what we like to say about Nabani, Jason? It is the lab. It is where we see the most crazy team comps in all Overwatch. I think that still holds true, even though we've seen a little bit less in Nabani recently than times in the past. I mean, look at this NiP comp. It's something that I feel like you would only see on Nabani. Meanwhile, though, offense definitely appears to be going far more standard dive composition.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this too, like how this is going to work. So if they do dive on top to where this turret is, they have pretty wise who can knock people off this. But the thing is, Kaino and Mafu will be able to fly into the high ground. Fraggy can get back up there as well if he needs to. Himsy pretty much is the only one that can really be knocked in that kind of situation. And Zappis, I guess he could run around as well. I didn't know if he was holding on that point or not, but they can see the dive comp's already there. So I'm curious to see how they're going to adapt to it. Are they going to change things up or maintain this position?
It'll be interesting nonetheless. I do think that dive comp actually has a bit of a problem if Torbjorn really gets set up and gets Molten Core, because then you just pop Molten Core and people come in and it's actually quite difficult to deal with. So winning this first fight, very important here for the side of Reds. They need to get in quickly, set momentum. You don't want to let NiP get comfortable on this particular set, especially when you have Mercy Res in the wings. But here we go, first fight underway. Ruap going in and over and actually misses the leap, falls off and has to wait.
Zap is only a sliver of HP though, 2 HP, but he's looking for the kill on the Ruap, which will get, and Himsy's able to get his turret back down. We saw Woomera actually going for a flank for that entire fight. He came around the high ground for them, even caused a little bit of distraction, but do you think Ruap missing that jump actually just cost him that fight? Do you think there's a good chance they could have won that fight if he didn't miss it?
I think that him missing the jump threw off the entire team there, where if he had leapt in, landed it, I think the rest of the Reds were ready to come in after it. I think their timing and everything was thrown off, and now they're going to have problems, Jason, because you take a look at NiP, they're getting up there in ultimates. They might be able to nano Mafu this attack, and if that works out, they're going to have Rez and all other goodies coming up as well. So for the Reds, this is problematic.
Yeah, I think they're also definitely going to have this res. Like, it should happen this fight unless somehow Kaino gets picked off, and I don't really see that happening with such an experienced support like he is. But they're focusing on this Genji Exceed. It's just being pressured back. He has a Dragon Blade up, yes, but Mafu paired with Frag is able to secure this kill. And now Mafu is just looking for an opportunity to go for the barrage. He's actually getting healed, spammed constantly here by Izana, by Zupe, and he's going to be able to pick up that initial kill and force them back.
And for NiP, they're not even chasing after this. They are more than content to say, you know what, guys, you have to come into us. And Jason, taking a look at this, how important is this next fight here for the Reds, given the window and the resources they have available?
Well, Molten Core is going to be up in the fight. I don't know. The problem is they have to somehow deal with Kaino, and Exceed's going to have to be that one, maybe with Woomera, to deal with him. If they can kill Kaino, then I feel like they could easily take this fight, even with that Molten Core available, because they're going to destroy that turret with the Pulse Bomb, and the Self-Destruct is going to completely mitigate any high ground control that NiP did have.
Well, an early engage comes out here from Reds. Exceed gets that backline, gets both Ana and Torb. Meanwhile, Woomera doing all sorts of work in the Tracer, landed a Pulse Bomb pickoff, so it's very quick, very decisive, but the Resurrection is up, which means that they're not out of it just yet. Multi-core out here from Himsy, does not have a turret to go with it. He's just raw Torb in your face, meleeing Reinhardt here, probably not the best strategy as the rest of his team dying in around him. So Himsy probably going to fall here in a moment, and it's good delay from NiP, to say the least, but they aren't able to go for the full hold here in all likelihood.
I actually thought they might have been able to pull that one off. It looks like the res, well, the res came in, Zappis got res a little bit too late, and even Mafu had some decent damage on quite a few people on that point. It's just, I guess they couldn't finish off those kills, and now Woomera's trying to be really aggressive, push up in towards their spawn. But there we go, Helsinki res. They've been able to capture the point, and I think that's the most important thing for them. Because I think that's the biggest hurdle they had to get over mentally to have a chance in this map, is you have to capture that point.
Yeah, and now, I mean, again, Nabani's a case where you can get some degree of momentum. They don't really have that much in the tank here. They've used a lot to take the point, but a lot's going to for Ruap here. Ruap has Riftshare up and at the right. He's going to dive in, drops the hammer, ults some shields instead. Does not get what he's looking for. Instead, now, NiP can go for the counter engage and bring this right back. Let's see if they do that. Fraggy diving in, nano boost on him, hook out from Himsy. Is this going to be the end of Ruap? It will be. And NiP should be able to hold this firm now.
And that was even a nano boost invested into that one too. Epic's popping that onto, I think it was Ruap, or Ruap if I'm not mistaken there. But Umera, I mean, half HP, trying to contest the payload, maybe try to push it further, or just try to sneak in some extra damage. And this is not good. Oh, if Exceed got caught there by that chase from Himsy, that could have been bad. That could have held them at the spawn for even another 20 seconds of time. But look where Fraggy's positioned. Look how aggressive this man's being.
It's not very often that you see people shooting into the spawn door in competitive Overwatch, but that is what we're seeing right now. Fraggy pops an Earth Shatter way behind the spawn. I don't think he got too much on it. I think he was looking to take out Tracer, but this is pretty unbridled aggression here from NiP, and Lumera has had enough of it. Picks off both Mofu and Fraggy, coming to the backline, Big Bang combo underway, and that's going to be a full and complete team wipe for the Reds, punishing NiP for frankly being far too far up.
Yeah, that was a little too flashy. That was a little too much out of NiP. I think that was highly unnecessary for them to hold that far up. And they might have given the momentum, you know, the morale boost that Helsinki Reds needed, because now you have Exceed, the Grandma Glass is ready to go up towards high ground. As long as he can deny this position away from Zappis, which he might be able to do, comes down to who's going to get that Nanovisor off quickest. But with Zappis pushed up this far, it means he has no way to escape this one, no way to retreat, and he's going to be taken down immediately.
Zappis immediately getting dunked on by Exceed. Exceed still going forward, 3 kills before it's all said and done. That combo, the Grandma's Glasses, as you say, working out very well here, and Reds now going to take second point without much of a trouble. And this is where I feel like NiP made their own bed of doom here. They didn't need to give up this much space.
Yeah, they kind of dug their own hole in that case, and credit to Exceed to take advantage of that situation too on the high ground, because it's very risky as Zappis to push out in that position when you have nowhere to hide if a Nanovisor does come in. And obviously if Exceed does get caught out, take a lot of damage, he can hide, he can be healed back up, and he'll stay alive for the fight to have a second chance. Whereas Zappis, once you're dead, or once you're out there, you're fully committing to that situation, and once you're dead, you lose a lot of damage, but Umera's gonna eat a Helix Rocket to the face.
Fraggy setting up that fight beautifully, knocking down 3 with his Earth Shatter. Was not dealt with by the attackers, and NiP again, the aggression coming out strong, and I mean, I wouldn't think you would see them at the spawn point in this particular case, but Fraggy doesn't appear to have an S key on his keyboard here, Jason. He's just going forward.
Yeah, and when he does want to go backwards, he has to turn around and hit W. He's just, you know, retreating in the other direction, or what's the other term? I can't remember.
I wish I could bail you out here. I know exactly what you're referring to,
direction.
But I don't even remember offhand.
Advancing in the other direction. I got there eventually. I'm a quote-unquote pro commentator, right? But in the meantime, the payload's being held up here in this underpass. Ground Surge is going to be coming through, pulling in quite a few people actually, but Himsy's going to respawn.
And that Graviton immediately met by the Sound Barrier, but hey, they do pick up 2 kills off of it, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Mofu rolling around with the cleanup, actually 0 energy, but still making it work here. Fighting on the Umera. Tracer V is already here, and actually he's in a bit of trouble here. He's on to help him out here in a hurry. 100 health, does get healing for Zen, but it's not enough. Umera able to win that fight, and he's really opening this up here, Jason.
He's doing a great job, and even Zupe there, just want to point out, died on the payload, smart man. Just does hold it up so his teammates can get back out quickly. But yeah, Umera, he's been having his ups and downs. He's been having some tough times with Zappis, but there was definitely one of his ups. And with this pulse bomb up, if he can catch them coming out of spawn, this could be huge. And he does spot out Zupe. The pulse bomb, though, won't really connect, unfortunately, for him. And the Earth Shooter has gone down, but it's knocked down so many people.
Grew up, able to go in there, drops the hammer beautifully. Fraggy able to punish him, but look at NiP and their health, Jason. Everyone is super low. Fraggy throws on a last moment. Hail Mary Earth Shatter does not connect. And now the Reds about ready to finish out this map. NiP, they're going to go in for the last moment delay, but it's not enough. So Reds able to finish out the bonding, which a lot of teams don't always do just because of how hard it is to complete last.
And you have to think about that. Was that due to NiP being so aggressive on that second point, and then getting, like, even Fraggy using an Earth Shatter for one person? And he did, I don't think he caught Umera with that one either, as he's off to the side. And if they didn't do that, then they wouldn't have gotten snowballed so hard in the second phase and potentially the third.
I would say that NiP got caught up in a ridiculous moment of bloodlust, and it just did not work out for them. Unfortunately, their Berserker Rage led them to a moment where they all got wiped out, not just slightly, not staggered, but decisively. And it gave Reds an opening to win the fight after that, and it gave them the time buffer they really needed to attack last and finish it out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the grave they dug there, and now it's up to them to finish this with some time on the board. Well, they even need some time on the board because they finished with under a minute for Helsinki Reds, but they need to have a good performance, I feel like, here. And I want to say, and it sounds like almost disrespectful to Helsinki Reds, but I feel like NiP are just having some fun with this series. I don't necessarily feel like they're being pushed to their limits here.
I think NiP is definitely having a bit of fun, as you mentioned. I mean, you take a look at what they're running back on Ilios, but it also could be really experimentation for NiP, because on some level, I think they probably realize that they are really stuck in one playstyle, and hey, they play that playstyle better than most other teams in the game, but they are going to need to really throw in more curveballs as time goes on. We've seen teams in Overwatch get a lot more versatile. You need to look no further than what we've seen out of Apex recently to see teams really throwing different compositions at teams one after another. NiP right now, they have one fastball that's really good, but they need other things in their arsenal.
They need a changeup, they need a curveball, they need a slider, they need all these things in their kit. And look at the defending side of Helsinki Reds. How do you feel about this one? They do have Pretty Wise on the Diva, who can get obviously from the low ground to the high ground. No Torbjorn, no Symmetra. Relatively standard for them in general here.
It's a pretty standard defense. I don't think there's anything too much you can criticize on it. It's not going to do anything super great either. And NiP, they're just walking up normally. Himsy looking for that all-important first hook. And NiP just being slow, steady aggression as they go forward here. But Himsy not even land hooks early on, going to cost him as Umera ends up taking him out. And we'll see if the Reds can fish out this defense. But NiP will get pushed back, at least in the beginning.
And Mafu was spamming quite heavily onto Exceed, who was playing around that pillar really well. Gotta give credit there to FX to keep him healthy, to keep him alive. But one thing we did notice, and one thing I definitely criticized about the Helsinki Reds, was their ability to deal with Pharah when they're playing against NC Sports. And I feel like we might be able to see this one true. I mean, FX is obviously trying to heal so many different targets right now that he doesn't have the opportunity to go for some shots. As you can see right here, maybe he's having to heal so many different targets that Exceed was down to 1 HP, and he can't also afford to push out of this position where he could be seen by Mafu.
Exceed was so close to going down there. That would have been huge. Mafu almost got what he was looking for. And then we have it. Himsy gets the hook to start this fight. Opens up Mafu to go to the back line, but there's attack visor coming out from Exceed. Exceed, nano boost on him as well. Able to clean up the remnants of this fight. And even though you look at the kill feed and it's entirely Exceed getting all of it, that was actually very close to going the other way. 1 HP separated NiP from getting that early pick off and probably taking the fight.
Well, now NiP, though, they have a second chance, or a third, or even a fourth, as we do have the visor ready to go. We're going to have the res up in just a few seconds, and also the barrage. So there's nothing to really combo with the barrage, unless Fraggy somehow hits an amazing Earth Shatter, but still with Exceed on this high ground not really being disrupted in terms of being knocked off of it, I still see it to be very hard to make a good combo work.
Well, there we go. Self-destruct in the backline from Pretty Wise. Grabs him off early on and basically ends this push before it can begin. NiP definitely in some trouble here as the Reds able to hold them back. A little under 2 minutes left, but look at this, Jason. NiP and their ult management. They're saving up for one big final attack.
Well, sometimes that's all it takes, right? So we'll see how it's going to go for them, as looks like Wimera's going to get the early spot on them pushing high ground. And actually changed that completely. Instead of actually going mid, they've been doing every single time. I think with all these ults in their bank, they're looking for that big bang, looking for that big fight.
And right now, Mafu looking to go around in on the flank. Fraggy almost certainly going to be charging in from the front. And here we go, NiP forcing the issue right now. Early hook comes out from Himsy, gets the Reinhardt. See if it's going to be enough. Mafu died early on. He wasn't able to get too much done here. And despite all these ultimates up for NiP, they're really struggling to get through this here, Jason. Zappis goes down. Exceed able to get on the Mafu again after the res. And we'll see if it's enough. The res should give NiP the staying power they need here, but this has not been clean.
Well, the res was used actually earlier on just to get Fraggy back up alive, so Mafu unfortunately just didn't make it in time there. He died a little bit too late, and kind of, yeah, they have a lot of extra healing here, but Exceed's still not being touched. He's got his tactical visor back and ready to go, and the reinforcements are coming soon, but look at this. That's Himsy going onto the high ground here, trying to disrupt this one. Exceed just escapes with 40 HP, and he will stay alive for now. He's going to get healed back up as well, but I think finally NiP have been able to break through and get some sort of control.
We'll see if that's the case. Himsy comes in from the back with the whole hog. NiP really against the wall here. Only 30 seconds remaining to cap this point. They do get a 2-to-1 kill advantage to start this out, but Tapas takes it down by Ruoff, so luck can be on the Himsy now to be the DPS they need to pull this forward, but Mafu in over the skies with support. This should be enough for the Reds, or for NiP to get in here and capture the point. So I gotta say, this was very not clean from NiP, especially given the ult advantage they had going into that last fight.
And that Earth Shot out of Fraggy there too was pretty big. He caught out onto Wumera and Ruape, where Ruape was being distracted by Mafu, and he couldn't catch Wumera, who was already picking up kill after kill. They actually could have lost that one with just a tank and a Pharah, or 2 tanks and a Pharah. No real way to deal with the Tracer cleanly, I guess we could say, but in the meantime, they're trying to prevent the Helsinki Reds from getting any sort of control up here on this payload, stopping them from actually getting this payload around the corner, most importantly. And that self-destruct's going to catch on Zupe, and they're going to immediately back off.
Well, we see a lot of aggression coming out here from the side of the Reds, moving right in. They throw in the self-destruct and tac visor for good measure. 2 minutes left here for NiP. Not as much time as you'd really want from the Bonnie, given how it takes to get last. And we'll see how aggressive the Reds are here, Jason. I don't think they want to repeat NiP's mistake, and they are backing out just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, considering they have time completely on their side here, there's no point to make a big mistake. And that Earth Shatter coming through at a Rue Wave. Let's catch on to at least one man, and Fraggy's going to get the counter charge to keep Rip away from the team, but they've already lost on a Zappis, and that's going to be their big range damage dealer, and Umera is just able to get some free damage in towards the backside, but pretty wise, a little bit too far pushed up, and now the man advantage is in favor, not to mention the spawn advantage is in favor of NiP.
NiP should be able to get this at least to right before the second point. The defense, it takes a while to actually come back, because you spawn all the way back in the final spawn in the back room. Getting back in the second in the Bonnie, pretty difficult. So the defense will get one more defense here, Jason, and they don't have a lot of resources to go with it, so they're just going to have to dive in with Sound Barrier and hope for the best.
Which is actually really rough to ask, too, when Himsy's going to have hook potential here. He's also going to have his whole hog in just a few seconds, or at least use it in a few seconds. And Zappis is maybe looking for a position on the high ground here. He does have his tac visor. He's taking the exact same spot that Exceed had before. Tac visor up and ready to go, but not going to pop it just yet. Maybe waiting for that Anubis to come up. Pretty wise takes on Fraggy, who just seemed to have gotten a little bit too aggressive, or yeah, definitely too aggressive.
And this is a pretty good defense here. I mean, they popped the Sound Barrier, they got 2 kills immediately off of it, and they're going to be pushing NiP back. And NiP down to their final attempt now, Jason, to bring this back. And what can we expect from them for this final push, if any changes are available?
Well, I think it's a little bit too late to change heroes, but they have their grandma glasses. I think we have to kind of take into account, take stock of where Exceed's going to be, who's already on the high ground and denying this position away from Zappis. So the chance of Zappis getting into an area where he can make this ultimate effective is going to be a little bit rough. But with 15 seconds left, they have to at least get to the payload here. But Umera is just being such a nuisance to Himsy here in the backside, just constantly spamming away at this Roadhog, building up so much ult percent. But there's a sound break coming in as they do get the payload.
Here come NiP looking to turn this back in their favor. They have the Nano tac visor up in the back line, but Zappis has nothing to shoot. This was not a very good tac visor. Gets very little from it. Umera going in on the back line once more, splitting the attention of NiP. There's the Graviton in from up, picks up 3. Both supports are in that vortex. Does get down on Lucio, able to get away in the very end, but it's going to be Mafu really putting the team on his back here, Jason. Picking up 3 before it's all said and done, keeping NiP in this. Umera goes down, and that should be enough for them now to get the second point.
Well, Exceed's still on the high ground, though. He's still just spamming away, and honestly, great focus by Zappis and Mafu just to kill Umera before they took down Zupe, and Zappis takes down BBR, and Exceed on the high position just wasn't able to be enough there. Honestly, if Umera took down Zupe and Zappis and Mafu didn't turn, I think they could have actually held that. But some great focus fire out of NiP, which we saw happen yesterday as well, was really allowing them to close out these kills and get that second checkpoint. It wasn't clean at all, and there's still a chance they might not finish this map.
There's a very good chance they don't finish this map. NiP only has 2 attacks here. Fraggy, though, drops the hammer, gonna knock down 2. Finds Soldier in the back line, but no, he whips the charge. Meanwhile, Umera in the back line picks up 2, no, 3 kills for Umera in the back line. A very good counter engagement coming out here from the side of the Helsinki Reds, and now NiP going to be down to their final attack to finish out this map.
Yeah, this is going to be rough, and you know, we talked about, you know, flanking and all that today, but to have a Tracer flank around with that pulse bomb, catching on both supports and charge straight into Zappis there to make him feel uneasy. Well, barely escaped with his life for a second there, as these rockets did skate past his ears, but with one last attack and not a lot of time left, you're kind of forced to use the ultimates whenever they come up.
Here comes Exceed with the Nano Visor at the ready, picks on 2 immediately, gets 3, 22 seconds remaining here. NiP going to be wiped out on the point. The only potential here, Jason, is maybe they respawn time to get this, but I'm not sure that's going to be a thing. With 14 seconds left, Mafu going to get nailed down here in the last moment, and NiP looking for a prayer now to somehow bring this back. We'll see if they can even touch the cart.
Well, it looks like they're not really going to have a chance here. Fraggy's will get to be able to touch the card at least, but with Zappis already going down, they've lost out on a major damage there. Oh! Zupe hits the sleep dart into Umera. That's huge for him. As long as they can pick up that kill, as that man has not actually been dealt with in towards the back. Now, Zupe has to be careful of this, but it's kind of going to eventually fall from this one. Mafu charging back and switching over to the Winston, though, just to get here in time. But the kills are all red.
The kills are all red. No one is dealing with Umera. He does finally go down at the very end. Zappis with the late fight tac visor, trying to bring it back. Does get 2 kills, but will fall. And Jason, this has just happened. The Helsinki Reds have punished NiP, taken the Bonnie, and evened up the series 1-1. My goodness.
Honestly, I don't think I would have expected that just compared to the track record these two teams have had against each other and across the entire tournament. But credit to them to do it, to take advantage of NiP getting cocky and just pushing straight past that. A clean second.
All right, so it will be NiP on the attack first, going to be the Reds on the defense. So probably not going to be seeing too much in the way of a defensive Widow here, going back to our earlier conversation. But I would expect just standard stuff coming out here from the side of the Reds, although you never know. Reds, they've been trying to be more unconventional this entire set. Maybe they have a curveball. They are showing a Hanzo right now. I don't think that's going to be in play, but I would be thrilled if it was.
Well, they're supposed to have something prepared specially for NiP. We just didn't see it yesterday, I don't feel like, or at least what they had prepared special didn't really work out for them. I mean, FX, I'm assuming he's going to be switching back to Hanzo, so I'm not really expecting him to be committing to that one. Like, see, we'll be playing on the high ground, it seems. So, I don't know. Looks like we're going to see Zappis on Junkrat. I don't want to believe that, but I'd still love to see it.
I would like to see the Junkrat, and FX is still not moving out here. Are we going to have a restart? I feel like the Reds are not ready.
Maybe.
Because now...
Oh, server's lagging, yeah. Okay, I was wondering what all that skipping around was doing. Well,
yeah, so it's not just us. The server is something terrible is happening here. I think they might have to remake. Because you wouldn't want play under these conditions here, where they're just going to pause and maybe see if it clears up. That's actually weird. I've never seen Overwatch lag to that extent. And now that I'm thinking about it, like in that particular form of lag, I don't know about you, Jason, but that's actually pretty weird.
Well, I have German internet, and it's very crappy. Might have high speed, but bad connectivity. I've had many drops before, but no, yeah, that was very odd. And maybe they're just going to take a second to talk things over, and we'll be able to update us. I would imagine we'll be back into it in a few seconds just to see if it has died down. And worst case scenario, yeah, just remake it really quickly. I don't know why it keeps trying to alt-tab me out of the game, but yeah, I don't know. Shouldn't be too big of a deal for the teams. Maybe giving the Helsinki Reds a little bit of a taste of what it can be like being on stage with technical difficulties and having to keep your composure, where NiP's, well, against Complexity, they were there for a million years over at DreamHack Winter.
Oh yeah, the DreamHack Winter NiP series where, oh man, that was a long series. I remember you and Mitch had to go on Hollywood forever and ever and ever.
It was pretty great. It was great times. 12 around Hex, at least according to like MSI and DreamHack Winter. All right, we'll see.
Hex is the cursed one. Anytime you bring Hex here, in-person event, everything just catches on fire. And it's really because you need to let him sell out. That's the difference. He hasn't really sold out too much at these events yet.
They take that time for him to do, sponsor shoutouts.
All right, so it looks like I was seeing things that I wanted to see, or maybe not wanted to see, but I was expecting to see, because we're looking at the player point of view here. It feels like the lag is gone, so whatever weird, creepy voodoo is going on is seemingly passed. So now we can talk about the defense, and FX still on Hanzo in the back line, but probably going to swap it off.
That's like the only time he doesn't get to, or he doesn't have to play Ana, is in the warm-up, in the preparing your defense section. So he's going to go back over to Ana. So pretty standard hold. It looks like they're comfortable keeping Wumera, though, on Tracer, just kind of harass this back line. Zappis on Torbjorn, probably not going to be expecting that. He was on Junkrat before as well. Probably won't be expecting that either. Most likely a Soldier, I would guess. If anything, maybe a Pharah. But it's going to be pretty standard comps here for both teams.
Nothing too crazy coming out here. Zappis, of course, probably going to be swapping off that Torbjorn, despite how much it would be beautiful to see him run an offensive Torb. Not going to happen. And NiP coming out about standard is as standard gets, but Wumera is on the defensive Tracer, Jason. We'll see if he can continue giving NiP troubles.
Yeah, in the position he's in, too, like, he can easily drop on top of them or just kind of zip around the backside by going for, like, an L-shaped blink. But so far, Frag is just taking constant shit from the high ground and not really being dealt with here. But the window for Wumera to actually rewind back up there was just fading, as he does land there perfectly. Times that one really well. But they've already broken the shield. Ruap, he doesn't have a Roadhog on his side, and with that shield now gone, and with Wumera being slept, they're under a little bit of pressure.
Fraggy got boosted up there. May have been able to go forward and make something happen, but taking too much damage, had to back out. Interesting exchange here from both teams. Usually, Anubis is a little bit more decisive, but NiP taking their time, still very good HP. Himsy free to look for a hook right now. Wumera up over the top, still causing problems.
Fraggy's trying to jump up there.
Here we go. Fraggy does jump up to the high ground. We'll see if NiP just falls this up entirely, but Fraggy's just going to go to town, gets an nano boost, but Ruabe has the same thing going in his favor. 3 kills here from the Reds, and their counter engage better than the NiP engage.
He hit a giant Earth Shatter there. That was insane. I think he caught like almost the entirety, 4 people minimum with that Earth Shatter on the side of NiP. And that just shut them down. It seems like they took the game plan away from NiP. And now you go back to the drawing board here. I know the overlay is a little bit wrong here, guys. I'll fix it in just a second. But that was interesting to see them try to climb that high ground.
Yeah, usually you don't see teams try and just muscle their way through, but NiP, they're all about power and aggression, so why not try and power through in the way that most people do? But Woomera able to get to the back line, grabs 2 with the pulse bomb, ends up dying, but the damage has been done, Jason. He stops that fight before it can even begin.
Yeah, well, Himsy does take Woomera down, but it's a tracer. You get back to the point relatively quickly, so it's not that big of a loss for you in the end. But NiP are starting to struggle here. I'm not sure if they're going on tilt, but I was thinking Reds have really been able to do some serious work. Woomera in particular on the Tracer has been able to cause a lot of pressure, and Himsy not hitting these hooks doesn't really help.
What a graviton coming out of Freewise. Grabs in all 4 members of NiP in the back line, but a counter Earthshatter coming out here from Fraggy might be opening way for NiP. Zappis piling on, Nanovisor, no, immediately goes down after he uses it. It has been a bloodbath here. NiP, though, slightly healthier as they get more on to the point.
Yeah, and not to mention having to run back from that defending side is going to take a lot longer than it takes running back from the offensive side. Let's see if they can get out of the choke. Looks like Fraggy's going to have to kind of give up this positioning. Exceed, though, has TAC-Visor ready and on the high ground, and no one really to deal with them. It comes down to Zappis and Zupe together, since Himsy's not going to have a decent chance to really hit this hook.
So NiP, they didn't really feel confident with the advantage they might have had there. They had to back off and wait for people to respawn, and it's given Reds the opportunity to come back and reinforce his point. And Exceed right now, just laying in the damage in over the top, and no one on him at all right now. And with Fraggy going down, NiP going to be losing a lot of their durability as they try and push in here. As Himsy having to take refuge in this corner. We'll see if the Reds actually chase him down.
Well, Mappa is just trying to escape, it seems, but he's going to charge on by Ruip, who now has Earthshatter ready to go yet again. I don't think he's going to be using it, though, anytime soon. And just saying that, I thought he was going to go for it, but they pick up a kill on a Kine already and pretty much takes on Frag. And NiP, they're just falling by the wayside. They have 45 seconds left to capture his first point, let alone finish off the map here.
NiP is in a very rough shape here. I mean, NiP was going with probably the most aggressive Anubis attack I've seen in terms of just trying to go up the high ground, but it has not been working out. Pulse Bomb connects on the Himsy. 30 seconds left. NiP has one good attack here, Jason, where they can come into the 6th. And I think a lot is going to depend on Mapu just landing the graviton to set things up.
Well, keep in mind, Exceed's had this TAC-Visor for the last 2 fights and just hasn't felt like he's needed to use it. Epic's in a situation to actually give this to him. And we don't have anyone who can dislodge from that position. You don't have a Winston, you don't have a Diva. This is going to be really troublesome, especially if Fraggy can't keep his shield charged.
We'll have to see. Mapu right now looking for the graviton, coming right in. Gonna drop the graviton in the back line. Gets only the Ana, and ends up getting slept. Ana stays alive for a little bit longer there as Exceed in over the top with the TAC-Visor. Picks off 2, and NiP, they don't get on the point. They get full held on Anubis, and suddenly the Helsinki Reds have a great opportunity now, Jason, to flip the series in their favor and go up in the lead 2-1.
I don't know what's going on here, guys. I honestly don't know. NiP, like, clearly the favorites of the entire tournament. So many people kept saying, oh, easy money for NiP, but Helsinki Reds are pushing them to the brink here, and I don't know if it's just NiP warming up or them not taking them seriously, but they sure as hell have to after that full hold. Now they have to somehow come out with a full hold themselves. We talked about this, ZP on Nabani, and how it's really hard to attack first and get full held and then somehow defend second in full hold. This allows so many different opportunities and so many different potentially crazy compositions coming out from the Helsinki Reds, which Exceed and Widowmaker currently sitting on. There's a good possibility he's going to go for it.
Absolutely. And by the way, apparently I was calling the Helsinki Reds Helsinki Reds or something along those lines. So that's just
don't worry. You're only offending an entire country.
So I've corrected it. Yeah. But I also have the incredible excuse of being injured. So
and also it's really you've been up like since 3 a.m. to cast this. So.
Sure. But this is really interesting. I feel like going back to more real analysis on the last point, I feel like NiP, instead of using any sort of subtlety and attacking the point, they just tried to go right up the gut repeatedly, over and over again. They didn't really try and go in from, say, the left side or the right side or any sort of cool engages that we see teams do on Anubis. They just tried to power through the defense from the Reds, and it did not work out at all.
Yeah, it was just Fraggy constantly trying to jump up on this middle platform here using these spices. And yes, he could get up there, but the problem is the first time he actually successfully got there, well, there was not a boost out of both Reinhardts, and Ruip's like, all right, you can go up there. I'm going to run past you and Earthshatter your entire team.
All right, now this is where NiP, they can bring this back somewhat. They can force a draw with an equally good defense, but easier said than done. Usually teams on Anubis will manage to get the first point, so NiP has put themselves in a rough situation here. And Exceed on this Widow here, Jason, if he gets even one pick off, that could spell doom for NiP.
Yeah, 100%, and it's going to come down to Zappas mostly to deal with this, and he actually reflects a sleep dart out of Ethics directly into his face, so that's one way to deal with it if you put him to sleep, but now Zappas has already gone down here. Frag is being forced to retreat back to the point here. Umera is constantly harassing from the backside with the Tracer, and this is not looking good at all.
No, not at all. Unless you're a fan of the Reds, in which case it is looking great. They get the early pickoff. Headshot on the Himsy. Himsy, lucky to stay alive there, gets bailed out by Fraggy towards the very end. And now for NiP, this is a little bit of sanity. They should be able to hold on for a little bit longer here, but Himsy actually way out of sorts here, eats the Ana Bio Grenade, doesn't get healed up for a while, has to run back, and will save himself. That was risky there for a moment as the Reds continue to pile on the pressure.
And look at the positioning that Helsinki Reds are fighting in. This is nowhere where Exceed can really help you, so with Rumera and Rip already able to pick up a couple of kills, Exceed actually finally able to chime back in, and Zappas is going to pop this Dragon Blade to somewhat do something in this one as he gets taken out by Exceed while he's in midair. I can't seem to hit anyone with my camera work. Now Himsy, one of the last men alive on the point, he's eventually going to fall this one as he's just trying to heal up here, trying to get this hook, trying to get some sort of clicks on it pretty wide as he connects. They hold the point for now, but you can still see the green or the blue coming in from the left-hand side, and BBR takes him down.
Exceed had two wonderful picks to start out that fight, was able to get him both Ana and Genji, and that's the reason why the side of the Reds are able to get onto this point. Grabs Kinnel early on, and Exceed going past any expectations right now, getting those early shots, and this might be enough. The Reds swarming onto that point. NiP going to be falling behind the series now, Jason, in all likelihood, down 1-2. This is big here for the Reds.
Honestly, never thought I would say that. NiP behind in a series in this tournament. I thought they had this thing pretty much wiped up here. Himsy, yeah, he's finding a lot of time, but we know how this one goes. You've all played competitive. You know there's no coming back from that. And now 2-1. Helsinki Reds are one map away from closing out this series. One map away.
This is pretty crazy. Just straight up nutty. Now for NiP, if they want to win the series as everyone expected them to do, and note that the game is wrong there. There's a bug with the over